Good morning, and we are fired up to bring you nothing but pure value in today's market. My name is Dave Savage. I'm the CEO of Mortgage Coach. Every Tuesday, 9 o'clock, we are interviewing someone amazing, and today is no exception. We have Mr. Wally Elibiary. What's up, Wally?
What's up, Dave? Literally, guys, we've talked about that for like, I don't know, it's been 10 minutes. So it's Wally Elibiary. Elibiary.
Easy peasy. So everybody knows who watches this channel. I am ADD. I am dyslexic. And there are just some words that I have a hard time with. So Wally, no disrespect intended. You are an amazing leader in this community. And I think it's more than that. You are an industry change agent. I mean, when technology comes to town, Wally and his team figure out how to leverage it, whether that's a CRM, whether that's Mortgage Coach, whether that's HomeBot. You know, when there is a technology that will give a mortgage professional a competitive advantage, Wally and team adopt, and then they take it to a new level. And another innovation that the industry has to do right now is diversifying referral partners. It's never been more important that you have, like realtors are the alpha partner, but the diversification of partners has never been more important. And obviously we're in a pivot to purchase market. So Wally has always been a leader in this community around his database. So I'm looking forward to like, hey, with this rising interest rate market, Wally, what are you doing in your database? And what are you doing with partners? So welcome to the community, Wally.
You bet. Thank you guys for having me. Always a joy. I usually do one of these a year, but Mr. made a commitment to Mr. Savage that I'd be involved for at least, what do we do? One of these a quarter?
Yeah, you committed to 4. And usually Wally's just one a year. And that's the other thing I respect is you've always just been really deliberate and intentional around your time, both personally and professionally. So dude, it's good to have you. So as co-host and co-facilitators, we have the one and only Todd, Mr. Win by Noon Bookspan. What's up, brother?
Hey, not much. I'm so excited to be here. And I love that you call Wally a change agent. I was at a real estate mastermind yesterday, and the leader of it said, education without application is strictly entertainment. And I thought that's really a great coaching piece, because one of the things that I remember is being at Sales Mastery and you talking about how you had breakfast with Wally and how he talked about implementing these strategies, and you crushed it, Wally. That's why we're here. We're here talking about it because you actually took ideas away from an event and you actually executed on it, which is where most people fail. And so I'm always amazed to watch someone who has, I think on the last call, you said you were repeating your 17th year over first year for the 17th year in your 17th year, something like that. And here we are. So I'm excited about that and super excited that we've got our other co-host and facilitator, none other than Deborah Bird from Plug and Play SM. Welcome, Deborah.
Good morning. How are y'all?
Good. Love that Mortgage Coach shirt. Remember, guys, you could get a Mortgage Coach shirt or Win by Noon shirt at the Win by Noon store. So represent. And hopefully we've been having a lot of asks for the No Borrower Left Behind from Sales Boomerang shirt. That'll be hitting the store within a couple weeks. So check out the Win by Noon store.
Hey, Dave, can we make it a goal for everyone who's a mortgage coach? When you watch the Modern Mortgage Summit or Real Estate Summit that's coming up May 25th, by the way, for us to all wear our Mortgage Coach shirts. So when we do our little selfie pictures, we have all mortgage coaches from all over the US.
I love that idea. I'm gonna be representing. Let's try to figure out a way to gamify that. Maybe if someone takes a picture of them watching that event with one of the Win by Noon shirts in the store, they tag it and we'll have some giveaways. So stay tuned, guys.
We may need to get Wally like an extra small that's hot pink. He does rock the pink.
He does rock the pink.
He does.
I don't think pink is available in the store, but I would add it in there just for Wally. Hey, one more thing I'd like to throw out there. I haven't looked today. I sent out to the people on the waiting list that we opened up registration for the Jeremy Forcier site visit. It's going to be April 15th. Super easy to remember. It's tax day. We'll be flying in on the 14th, having dinner with Jeremy and his wife at a mastermind style dinner. We'll be getting up early that morning if you want for an optional workout with J-Force. And then we're going to spend the day with his team learning from them, really seeing what the team, how they kick off the day, and then seeing Jeremy in action. And then we'll wrap up with a dinner. I'm not sure what Jeremy's going to host it this last year. Last time when we did it, it was at his country club with his amazing selection of wine. But it'll be a great, it's called 36 hours together. It's just LO for loan officer, lositevisit.com. I don't know if there's any spaces left, but I'm guessing there's probably one or two if anyone is interested in a premium event where you get to hang out with me, Dave, Jay Force. I think Deborah might be there. So it's going to be a blast.
Right on. So don't check that out if you're interested. And Janice, we'll see what we could do on a V-neck. So guys, we're going to flip into the topic. We're going to bring Wally on stage. First, I want to talk about why wealth advisors, why you've put so much time, resource around that. Folks, this is mastermind style. So if you have questions, post them in whatever channel. If you're watching this on Facebook, comments. If you're watching this on Zoom, chat. And if you're watching this in YouTube, we'll still get your questions answered. If you're in YouTube, you're watching a recording, but we try to pay attention to those questions and we'll get them answered. So Wally, first, if there's a new loan officer that hasn't heard one of the past interviews in the channel, remind everyone what kind of production you're doing, what market you're in, and then get into, why are wealth advisors such an important channel for you?
So our team last year, well, here, I'll give you our last 3 years. 2019, we did $100 million of loans. 2020, we did $150 million of loans. 2021, we did over $200 million of loans. And this year, our goal is $250 million. We're a hair ahead of track on that. So I'd say the biggest thing I want to start off with is if you study our industry leaders, what you learn in mortgage, and I learned this when I was probably producing $40-50 million a year in loans. What I learned, if you study the people that there was 11 humans in the state of Texas that ever hit $100 million in loans. And I was lucky enough to interview about 4 of them, or 4 or 5 of them. And one thing I learned is common denominators, they worked so hard because they had one lane highway to get to $100 million. And that one lane highway was Realtors. What we're super blessed about today is now we've built a 6-lane highway, which allows us to go from 100 million to 150 to 200 to 250 in just 4 years. The 6-lane highway is real estate professionals, CPAs, family will attorney, financial advisors, insurance, and the 6th one now we've landed two major size builders for our team. So having a 6-lane highway makes it so much easier to do business, but then also allows you to diversify when things are going really well through like refi booms. We're just going to monsterly crush it because of our client concierge team. But when things are going rough and like we have the market rates are going to 4%, 5%, who knows, whatever percent, we're protected because we've got 6 lanes that to produce business from.
Well, wouldn't past customers be like a 7th lane, or how do you look at, those are outside acquisition lanes, and then how do you put your past customers in context with that?
Yeah, so I'm actually building a Walt Disney type of drawing, and that's the HOV lane on the side. So yes, there is 7 lanes total, but the HOV lane that helps you go the fastest with the least amount of traffic, I don't want to give away too much, but it's part of a book I'm working on, is going to be that HOA.
Love that. And I don't think we have time to get into it. You may not even have the numbers, but it would be interesting to see what percentage of business, how much business you're getting from each lane, and benchmark that. Because I think you've gone from a couple. I mean, I remember when we had the conversation, you said, you know what, I got to start working on my past clients. And you did that for a full year. And then you said, oh, I'm going to start going after wealth advisors. And you worked on that for a full year. And now it sounds like, hey, you've added a bunch of lanes and you've done that in like 1 year. Is that pretty accurate?
I'd say pretty accurate, but I'd say it's over a 5-year span. I wouldn't say it's over in 1 year. But I mean, if I remember what Todd said a second ago about the breakfast that you and I had, that was 2017 sales mastery.
Jeez.
And respectfully, it's what, 5 years ago. So this overnight success has been built over time, but it's one thing that really helped me a ton. It was a phenomenal book that you just referenced, which is the one thing. You know, what is the one thing, such by doing it, that makes everything else easy or unnecessary? What that answer for me was a 1-year focus. I looked and analyzed my business. And I looked at where's the weakest part of my business, that if I focus on it for 12 months, now I can make that weakest part of my business my strongest part of my business. The next year, what's the weakest part of my business? And I focus on making that the strongest part of my business year after year after year after year, which makes that compound effect.
Got it. And by the way, what was your volume in 2017? Do you remember?
It was like 72 million.
Okay. So, you know, a baller, a top producer, but now franchise player. All right. So
Yeah.
let's get.
I'd say 72. I'd say 200 million is 5 times easier. I wouldn't say 10 times, 5 times easier than 72 million. And that's what I want everybody to kind of understand is if you build multiple lanes of multiple streams of income and multiple streams of referrals in your business, doing more business becomes easier. It's like so opposite mind thinking. Build more streamlines of business in your business, doing business becomes easier, not harder.
Well, you've also probably added team. You know, what do you think your team size was in 2017 versus today?
4 people maybe in 2017.
And today?
13.
13. Okay. So love it. If you have questions, guys, put them down below. So when were you at 4 wealth advisors? What year?
I think wealth advisor, well, database was the first thing. So that's what you and I focused on in 2000, going into 2018. Wealth advisors started being in 2019, then it transpired from there.
Gotcha. So four in it by the end of 2019, you had gotten 4 wealth advisors. And today, or it was 39. I'll bet you it's a couple more. What do you think it is today?
It's actually 46.
Okay, so 46. So you went from in 2019 to 46 today. At the beginning of the year, guys, when we came up with this headline, I got Wally to commit to 4 calls, and it was like first one was on database, second one was on wealth advisors, and that was, I think it was January. And so you've added 7 wealth advisors this quarter. It looks like. So let's talk about why wealth advisors, like just real quick, and then let's talk about how to do it.
Yeah, I mean, why candidly is it's kind of what I described earlier. I'm a father of 2 sons. In 2017, I was a very absent husband. I was a very absent father. You know, that's not really impressive when you make, 7 figures, but you're never home. It's not impressive if you make 7 figures and you don't spend time with your children. It's not impressive if you make 7 figures and everybody thinks you're this celebrity, but the people that are most important to you, your wife and your children, never see. That was the phony that I felt in 2017. And that, at some point, it just got too much being too much. And I wanted to improve being a better father and a better husband. For me to do that, I needed to run a more efficient business. More efficient business meant, how do I get business easier? Or was the business I was getting even necessary? I explained that well?
You did. So, but why wealth advisors? Like, what is it about that channel that has value? And then also, I believe that channel has never been more important. And I'm seeing more loan officers get after it. Like, hey, I want to get a wealth advisor now. So just a minute or 2 on why, and then we'll spend the rest of the call on how.
That's super easy. It's super easy. Remember, so that was 2019, 2018. What did I focus on? Annual mortgage reviews. I was so blown away, but by doing 15 to 20 annual mortgage reviews a day, I had probably 3 to 4 clients that were asking me, do I know a great CPA or great financial advisor, no insurance? When I learned to create a script around it, I started having 4 to 5 to 6 referral opportunities a day that I was walking away with. And what I'm most proud of this journey is what I'm about to tell you. What I'm most proud of is not the income, it's not the volume, it's not the production. None of that is what I'm most proud of. What I'm most proud of is 2018. I gave away, referred out $500,000 in commissions. The next year was $1.1 million in commissions. The The following year is $1.7 million in commissions. It's a pretty awesome feeling that I know that I generated 7 figures of income opportunity to my referral partners through the database mining that I was able to do. And now it's allowed me to scale the business, and the relationships with referral partners are huge.
So guys, I'm going to share my why on why I think wealth advisors should be your second most biggest priority as a mortgage professional. Is because if you want to be the single most valuable advisor to a consumer, you obviously need to know loans. You obviously need to understand how to build wealth with real estate, which is realtors, the alpha partner. But at the end of the day, what do consumers want? They want to be financially free, whether that means their home is free and clear, or whether that means they have enough money in the bank that paying off their home is a strategic financial planning decision. So if you want to be that captain of the wealth team, you need to have the real estate side of the asset class, and you need to have the wealth side. So that at the end of the day, when you're giving mortgage advice, you're showing people not how to get the lowest interest rate, you're showing people how to get the fastest freedom point. And that requires a real estate agent and a wealth advisor. And so if you don't have that pillar, you can't be the captain of the wealth team. You can be a badass loan officer. You can be a high performing, transactionally driven loan officer, but you can't be the captain of the wealth team if you don't have real estate and you don't have wealth advisors. Now, CPAs, they're great, but they're like number 3. Life insurance agents, they're great, but they're number 4. There's, if you want to be the captain wealth team, you need to have these channels of business. So before we get into like how to get a meeting with one and how to show up in that meeting, Todd or Deborah, any questions you have for Wally or anything you want to pull out from what's been said so far?
Well, I just want to point something out. I talk to loan officers every day who tell me they can't do one annual mortgage review a week. And Wally, you said you did 15 to 20 a day. Can you just real quick talk about how you prioritize that in order to make sure that that happened day in and day out?
Super easy. There's 3 leverages. There's human leverage, there's models leverage, and there's technology leverage. Human, models, technology. I built the model. I built it, had a teammate build the technologies. I had a teammate recruit the human leverage. Then I built the client concierge team. The client concierge team is 3 humans that do a 7-day call, 30-day call, 6-month call, annual mortgage review setup call, and they add appointments on my calendar. I walk in like a trained monkey, plug in, and we're off to the races.
All right. So someone who doesn't have that leverage, how would you encourage them to start at least getting 1 to 3 done a day?
The same way that I started, getting off my lazy butt and picking up the phone and dialing out. Just as simple as that. What I would do is when I ran out of time, I just make a text video. Hey Bob, I just wanted to connect with you. Obviously you can close your mortgage time, X, Y, and Z. There's a few inefficiencies that I'm seeing on the mortgage. Let's jump on a call. Here's my schedule once. Click on the schedule once and let me know when you want me to call you so I can break it down for you. That's it.
Script, boom.
How long does it take? How long does it take someone to make a 30-second video text and send that out?
You send a lot of those? Do you and your team send a lot of video text?
We used to back when we were building it. Now, when you drip on the 7-day call and you're bringing up the annual mortgage review a year from now, you drip on the 30-day call conversation, you bring up the annual mortgage review. The 6-month call, you bring up the annual mortgage review. Those are so easy now. Before, we'd have to chase. Now they chase us.
Cool. Deborah, questions, comments?
I was gonna say, have y'all heard of the app Video Ask? Where you can send a text video and it has interactive questions, like if, you can make it where for client testimonials or client reviews, but if you look up the app Video Ask, I highly recommend you download it because it's a way to send videos, but also gives a workflow based off what people click. But Wally, there was something you said how to get business easier. And then the second part was, or if that's even the business we should be getting. What did you mean by that? Well,
you're a mother, I'm a father. Being loan officers, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, I'm just being honest. Realtors or real estate professionals, sometimes they're not professionals. So if it's 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night, if it's 8 a.m. on a Saturday or at 10 p.m. on a Sunday, if they've got a contract going, they need that pre-approval letter, you're going to have to, as a loan officer, drop everything and anything that you do because you don't bring enough value for them to wait on you. You don't bring enough value for them to wait on you. When you're referring a business from your database, when you're referring them business from your CPA, when you're referring them business from your financial advisor, and so on and so on and so on, you raise your value that makes them wait on you. So I was a very absent father and a husband because I was running a business that my time was determined by other people's inefficiencies, meaning real estate professionals. When I started running a business like a professional, not an amateur, it allowed me to be able to dictate my time and what I did with my time, when I did it with my time, which increased my lifestyle, which also increased our business.
Powerful. So much wisdom, nuggets of gold. Hopefully everybody's getting a lot of value. So let's go through just an overview of your wealth advisor sales process. And then I want to make sure in this call we get scripting to get the meeting or process, talking points, whatever. I want to get an outline of what a meeting looks like. And then before this call's over, I want to know what is it like to stay in touch and manage that relationship so that, we go from meeting to engagement to an ongoing source of business. So those are the 3 chapters in the next, 40 minutes. So give us the overview and then we'll get into how to get the meeting.
I don't know today.
Time out. Not today. No one on this call has a system. So they got to start with getting the 4. And then so I want to know how to get your first 4. And then, we don't need to teach people how to get 37, like how to get your first 4 and then how to get your first dozen. Like that's the voice we need right now.
I would say that's Todd said a really good thing. Okay, great. When you started, what'd you do and how'd you do it? Right. And that's the lenses I want to be looking through in this conversation moving forward. So what I'd say when I started, I found that if I go through my network, it creates your net worth. And what I meant by that is I've got 4,000 or 5,000 people on Facebook. There's LinkedIn, another few thousand people, Instagram, so on and so on. But if you go search your Facebook friends page or you go through your pages, there's wealth advisors, there's financial advisors, there's CPAs, there are family will attorneys in there. There is. What most loan officers and mistake that I made early in the process is I went to like D Magazines, which is like a big time magazine here in Dallas. D Magazine, top financial advisors, top CPAs, top this, top that. And I started going for the top of the list. Well, it wasn't really enjoyable and I wasn't very successful at it. So what I learned was when I went to my social media pages and I saw other friends on our Facebook or whatever that were already financial advisors, those doors were so easier to open and we were already on a friendship level. And to get really not lucky, but blessed and lucky at the same time, I started going through what do we have in common? Meaning as there's one person I golfed. And if you follow me on Facebook, I love to golf. So it was like, hey man, I joined this new country club named Merrido in Dallas. I don't know too many people. Why don't you come out and play golf with me out here? Absolutely said yes. We go hit it off. We grab drinks after golf, and the relationship gets reinvigorated. I only knew this dude from social media, and that relationship's going. He's got a book of business. He's got a book of clientele, and I got in with him. And he helped me spread out through the office and expand through their office. And that's where I'd probably say the biggest thing is what door as a loan officer do you have half cracked open? Meaning, who do you know from your social media page? What door as a loan officer do you have half cracked open that you can kick that door down?
So I want to put it at it. So first of all, I agree with what Wally said. You definitely need to start with your people that follow you, know you, start asking clients for introductions to their advisors. But I do want everyone, if you want to go after this channel, I can speak from personal experience. You should put those people. At the time I built my practice on this, it was called the Orange County Business Journal. Maybe it's still there. And it had the top 20 CPAs, the top 20 bankruptcy attorneys, the top 20 financial planners. In Orange County, there were 7, back in my day, there were 7 bankruptcy trustees, which were basically the top 7 bankruptcy attorneys in Orange County. And I had 4 of them as clients, and I had done personal loans for 5 of them. Now, guys, that took me 5 years and everything, but I want you to, one, know who, if you want to go after this channel, know who the best players are, get them in your database, follow them on social media, target them. But to Wally's point, don't start there. You're going to get slaughtered. And by the way, you're not even going to show up like a baller. Like if you don't have, 4 wealth advisors, 4 CPAs, and you know how to talk to them, and you try to go after the top 10 or 20 people in your market, you're not going to win. So I agree with Wally, but I also want to push you guys. I want every mortgage coach to be the single most valuable advisor to the consumers you serve. And now everybody who's listening to this, you can't be the baller in the city. There's only going to be, 6 of the best. But I want you guys to strive to be the captain of the wealth team and own the market. And Wally is one of the captains of the wealth team in Dallas, Texas. I'm sure there's a few others. We know Denise Donahue gives you a little competition.
And Tom Sherman. Don't forget, we've got 3 ballers.
Well, let's not, they're Tom Sherman. There are other captains of the wealth team in that market, but Wally is one of those. And so, Wally, I see you brought some books out. Anything you want to share before we get into the how-tos?
Yeah, what's super funny, Denise was at the mastermind I was at with Todd Duckins this last week, and her and I were cracking out because we're literally maybe 4 or 5 miles away from each other, if even that. Similar ages, similar social circles, and we never compete against each other. Tom and I are like super close buddies. We've got a lake house in the same lake. We hang out outside on the weekends, and we never compete with each other. So it's funny. So if anybody knows me well, this is not derogatory about myself. I never went to college. I read like a 3rd grader, and I can't really spell cat. Okay. And I feel like there's a lot of things I'm great at. English vocabulary is not one of them. But what I did not learn in college, or what I not learned, like Denise is a phenomenal person at what she does, because she's also super smart, super articulate. And then also on top of that, she's got the Series 7 or Series 6, whatever she's got. Like, I don't even know what that is. I just know it's important to financial advisors. But I love reading. So I went to a financial advisors guru website. And I said, hey, who's the #1 like search wealth advisor coach out there, period? And it's Nick Murray. I read all 3 of his books. I took down notes. Why did I read all 3 of his books? Simply because when I went to lunches and coffees and dinners with financial advisors, I can probably BS my way through like 1st level questions or 2nd level questions. Once I got to like 3rd or 4th level questions, I didn't understand any of it. Then I started going through, and I won't bore you with all the books, but I read 16 different books about financial advisors and how to build teams. And when I realized what made me very successful in the real estate space, made me very successful in the financial advisor space. I love coaching. I love coaching. I love building systems, models, and just efficiencies. I've been able to coach, mentor, and teach top financial advisors here in Texas around what their craft is and how to upscale, how to increase efficiencies, increase technologies, increase cash flow, increase prospecting, increase team standards to the financial advisor space. And I'm just a little loan officer. What I'm trying to express to you guys is, if you don't need to be the Denise Donahues of the world, which is super great at what she does, but Denise is super empowered with things I don't have, but there's things that I do well, and figure out what makes you well in this space. If you're a loan officer and you've got this great vocabulary and all these things about finances, go with that. I didn't have that tool in my tool chest, but I had coaching and leading.
Right on. So we got 30 minutes to get through some how-tos, but Todd, anything you want to say or ask before I just start going through scripts and tactics and how to get the first meeting, et cetera?
Well, I think we just jump in on that, especially, I know we're going to show some TCA examples. I think that's a really critical part. When I was originating and I was doing annual mortgage reviews, that was always the kind of the silver bullet to help someone understand whether they should proceed or not with a new loan. And so I'll just let it keep flowing.
So Wally, this is a question for Mike Gallagher. what is the script to get the first meeting or the talking points?
Well, how do I say this? There's not much that's accidental to me, and everything is majority of business very purposeful. It's kind of also how I play golf. So there's a reason why I started in 2018 to focus on the annual mortgage reviews. What I learned from the annual mortgage reviews, it gave me the ammunition, it gave me the tools to go succeed in the financial advisor space. So when I focus on annual mortgage reviews, for the focus not necessarily of refinancing the client or doing a cash out loan for the client, but pulling out a CPA referral, pulling out a financial advisor referral, pulling out a family will attorney referral, then what I did from there is, hey, Mr. CPA, I'm Wally, nice to meet you. I'm mortgage loan officer in Dallas. I have a client that wants to roll over a 401k IRA to an investment fund. Are you accepting new clients? It's roughly around 300,000. But I would have never got that referral if I wasn't doing annual mortgage reviews first. So my advice to anyone, if you're doing annual mortgage reviews, you're able to pull referrals out, take those referrals, reach out to a wealth advisor that you know from social media, not from the want ads, but you know from social media that you've got a relationship with. Say, hey, I've got a referral for you. Let's grab a cup of coffee and talk about how I can refer you multiple deals.
So guys, that's a strategy, and that is called the ultimate call. But I will also tell you what will work is, hey, wealth advisor, my name's Dave Savage with Mortgage Coach. I specialize in helping wealth advisors serve their clients when it comes to real estate financing needs. And I can assure you that I can make your clients a better investor with you and a better client. You got 15 minutes. And then show them how, hey, if they aren't working with me and they're working with the typical loan officer, they're going to get a rate and they're going to get a payment. But if they're working with me, I'm going to show them how to be a better investor. I'm going to show them how to achieve financial freedom faster in a way that integrates with your plan. So guys, a lead and a deal is by far the winner, but just being a mortgage coach is also a value proposition. You don't need to wait to have a lead to call a wealth advisor. Wally, what are you offering aside from business? Because let's face it, everybody who's on this, they don't have annual reviews. They don't have the kind of business platform you have now. They should get there, but I don't want them to wait. I literally don't think they need to read a single book. Well, I do think they should read a book and you should learn about it. I think if you're just a mortgage coach and you know how to give strategic advice, you can get a meeting and you can deliver value. So assume that and share how you're doing things or how you would do things.
As a person, Dave, you're one of my favorite people. And as in the industry, you're also one of my favorite people. So I mean, with everything I'm about to say next with as much respect as possible. I still think it's a limited belief. I think if every loan officer out there in America, if they focus for 60 minutes, just 1 hour, calling their database, calling their sphere, finding a referral, they can walk away that referral. And that one referral referred correctly can pay them for months by attracting another referral partner out there. But let's just say you're right, and let's just say I'm wrong. With that,
well, I think we're both right. I don't think there's a right or a wrong.
With that being said, what I would do is a different approach I would take it is I'd ask my current clients, who do I have closing this month? If it's 1 closing, 5 closings, 50 closings, whatever it is. Hey, who's your financial advisor? And they say it's John Smith. Okay, great. Can you introduce me to John Smith? Because what I want to do is I just put you in a lot of debt. I just structured your mortgage and your debt was here. Now it's here after year. But I'm helping you play defense with your wealth. I want to meet who's helping you play offense with your wealth so I can help them understand how I structure the mortgage to help you not only short term, but long term. Can you introduce me to your current CPA, your current financial advisor, current family will attorney, whatever it is? The current clients you guys have in process right now, the current clients y'all closed last month, I'm assuming people on the call had closings last month. The current clients from last year, or a refi you did last year, or a purchase you did last year, get them to refer you to a financial advisor of their own. So what I would do from there, I'd say, hey, I would put together a TCA and I would do a video on the TCA around that client. Hey, Mr. Financial Advisor, This is Wally. Great to meet you, Bob. With that being said, I just helped the Smith family do A, B, and C. When they came to me, they told me their goals were X, Y, and Z. I was able to structure it. This is something that we're going to do for them, and we're going to do an annual mortgage review once a year to go through it. Would this be helpful if I came and had a coffee with you and or came by your office to go through this with you? So when you focus with them about growing their wealth, you can do a much better job on your end.
Boom. So that was pure gold. I want to break that down. Wally, you sent me a couple TCAs, and I want to go from how you would use one of these, either to talk through an advisor. Which TCA do you want to show? Like, I've got this one, which is a cash out, and then, we've got this one. Which TCA would be a good one to share?
I'd say go with the first one. Do me a favor, scroll up to the top where their name and address is in there. Perfect. But where their name and address is not there.
Okay.
Scroll up, stop. Perfect. All right. So that first one, okay, perfect. So this is a gentleman that he did a cash out loan to pay off of enough debt that he created $750 more a month in cash flow because he was trying to invest more money in his cash value life insurance. The gentleman's investment firm he was with pays 5% for every dollar that's in your cash value life insurance, tax-free. So it's equivalent to making 7% of your money for life. And it's a guaranteed number. Pretty impressive product. Well, so he paid off the credit card debt to create $750 more a month in cash flow, where the wealth advisor is like, hey, he's got some trigger points. When I got on the phone with the client, it was super important to him to stay around a 20-year term. So the program he picked was that third one. The 20-year cash out was $75,000 cash out. The silly thing is, the most, like, this makes complete sense to me. But his biggest hang up for wanting to do this was, hey, I'm letting go of my 3.125 rate and I'm jumping up to 3.625. I was on a text chain last night with Todd Duncan, Denise Donahue, Marty Preston, and Cody Hardridge. I've learned so much from that text chain. But somebody came on there and said they had a similar challenge. And if you're in mortgage and you've been in mortgage for more than 3 years, you're going to have to learn the script of how do you take a client from X, Y, and Z lower rate to a higher rate, but it's a better overall portfolio improvement on their wealth. So I reached out to financial advisor and I said, hey, financial advisor's name is David. I said, David, what I want you to do is if we create $750 a month more cash flow, where's the client's wealth in a year in that cash value life insurance? Where is it in 5 years? Where is it in 10 years? And he was 4Xing the money that he was going to be making on that cash value life insurance versus the interest that he's paying between 3.125 and 3.625. Those are conversations that are super easy to have, and I just got a $600,000 loan.
Yeah. Do you? And I know you did this because I've talked to you before, and this one was a life insurance, but like sometimes it's an investment with a, let's say an annual yield of 6%. How often do you put that in here so that we would show net worth increase over here? Like, what percentage of the time do you use that feature in Mortgage Coach?
So I'm about to tell you something that I hope comes across humbly and that you won't be mad at me about. I've seen that done before. Shane and CJ, both of my team, know how to do it. I don't know how to do it, so I don't do that. I verbally articulate it. But yes, we've done that before, but I don't know how to do that.
Got it. Well, I'm gonna not now. I want to pull up a TCA in a minute, guys, just to show you how to do that and how powerful it can be. But the point I think hopefully everybody's getting is he's not talking like an average loan officer, and he is partnering as a liability advisor, a mortgage coach with, in this case, it's a someone that focuses on wealth management through life insurance. And together they're showing a family how to achieve the big goal, which is wealth, which is freedom point faster. Todd, any questions or comments at this point?
It's funny. I was just typing in there, if you don't need to be like Wally, know how to do it because Mortgage Coach has training every day. So I'm going to make sure that Robert, who's the Wizard of Oz behind the scenes here, puts the link for everyone to, jump in on that. I think I just want to highlight again, Wally already showed you his book stack. He learned how to talk the talk of the financial advisors, and he's familiar with the investment strategies. So when I was originating loans and I worked a lot with financial advisors, I knew the product. I invested in the products that they talked about, and it made me an expert alongside of them. And it made them want to make sure that I was the loan officer that they referred the loan to, because they knew I would be able to help them sell by example. I wasn't a salesman. I'm not licensed to sell those products, but certainly when they're saying, oh, by the way, Todd, how is your product that I set up for you doing? That really helps. And even if they didn't set up the product, they still were a fan and they still used me because they knew I had created the product or had used the products personally. So how would you suggest, Wally, that someone gets connected with a financial advisor to make sure that they understand the products they offer and all of that?
Just like I just did with Dave, like there's no shame in my game. If you call me the dumbest loan officer in history, cool. But my wife loves me and my kids love me. What I mean by that is go to your financial advisor and say, hey, I'm bad at mortgage, but I get referrals. I don't know wealth advising. These are some of the questions I receive. You as a financial advisor, what should I say? How should I address them? What should my response be? Why not just humbly go ask the financial advisor and they give you all the tools that you need?
I love that. I love that. So guys, think about that. Wally, we know he's not the dumbest loan officer out there, but he's humble enough to ask the questions and get educated. And when he doesn't know what he doesn't know, he's not trying to pretend that he knows it.
So guys, I'm going to put a couple interviews down below, but I just want to show an example. This was one of the 10 most viewed interviews last year. It's called The Single Mom Refi by Alex Cook, who was a brand new loan officer. And he helped a single mom who had been paying on her mortgage for about 11 years. She did not want to go backwards on it. She needed about $5,000 in home improvements. And she also had some debt to consolidate. And he basically showed her like, hey, here's a strategy where you could pay off your house in 11 years. So kind of like the Dave Ramsey, consolidate debt, get the cash out, and then prepay the mortgage and be debt-free in 11 years. And then he also showed her how, or instead of paying off let's consolidate your debt, and let's make enough of a mortgage payment that you still pay off your house in 18 years, but let's also invest some of that with a financial planner and boom, mortgage coach. At the end of the day, this woman was able to achieve all of her financial goals and she was able to become liquid. And in 15 years, she would have still had her house paid off. She would have actually paid it off faster. And she was going to have $133,000 in investments. I also did an interview last week with a couple loan officers, and it was, big bank had quoted, a refi at X, and they went through the mortgage coach process, and they actually showed this client how they could literally have $4 million in net worth by just restructuring their debt. It was like life-changing. Now, again, this was a doctor, they were paying off a couple $100,000 in student loans. They were paying off $100,000 in a mortgage practice loan. It was north of $1 million purchase price. So it was a high net worth, high earning individual, but through mortgage coach, they were able to show this family transformational value. And then you know what else? They were able to actually bring a lead to a financial planner. So
I also said, Dave, what's super cool about stories like that is, the client that I showed a second ago with that $750 more a month of cash flow. What's super cool about when he did the cash value life insurance, he and I just talked actually last Saturday. He was able to go from $1 million in death benefit to $7.5 million in death benefit by adding that $750 more cash value. What kind of generational wealth do we take his future family when he passes from 1 million to 7.5 million? Like at the end of the day, we're affecting not only families' wealth, we're affecting the generations to come.
There's no doubt. And so guys, I want everyone on this, be the captain of the wealth team. We've only got about 15 minutes left. So if you have questions for Wally, let him know what they are. I think we've kind of covered a couple strategies to get the meeting. Before you leave, I want to make sure how you follow up with these folks so that, you're continuing to get business, but anything else in the meeting that you think we need to cover before we close out on managing these partners over time?
Yeah, I just want everybody to know you need to land one. Okay. You don't need 39. You don't need 46. You don't need 19. You just need land one. Because the next TCA that I sent to Dave was a CPA referral. Well, the CPA referral came from that financial advisor from that first meeting. So let's think about this. Who's the number one? And I don't know if anybody knows this. So Todd or anybody on this call, let's see if we all get this right. Who's the number one referral source to a financial advisor?
CPA.
Well, you just know everything, don't you? Yes, that is correct.
Well, I mean, dude, I did this back in the day. You know, I had
I let Dave answer to make sure I didn't get it wrong.
Yeah.
Dave is the original OG with this.
And I had over 100 CPAs, you know, and yeah, they were great referral partners to me, and they are the alpha referral partner to a financial planner.
Yeah, and that's where, I mean, that referral comes from. And it was a client that had an IRS tax lien that the CPA was struggling, helping to get payments for, and the IRS was calling it due, and they're affecting their house. And they reached out to me and had me do a TCA for them, and now their monthly payments staying the same, but they're able to pay off the IRS tax lien, which again is huge. But that referral directly came from the financial advisor directly to get to that got me to the CPA. So from that CPA, the reason I sent 3 options or 3 TCAs.
Is this it, by the way? Is this the one?
Yes.
Okay. So
and the reason why I sent the third option, so from that CPA, he referred me to a real estate investor. The real estate investor is a hard money real estate investor. That hard money real estate investor had a property that he did not want to hold on to, but the client that they took on in a hard money loan is calling it due. So the cash out option on the third option that I sent over to you, Dave, it's a cash out option to pull out equity to pay
this one right here.
Yes. Yeah. Pull out $75,000 in equity to pay off the hard money lender. And his blended rate was 3.469. And he went to another 30 year. So his monthly payment didn't change. So taking someone from a 3.4 to 4.3 sounds like it's pretty hard to do. Well, if you focus on monthly payment and look at the benefits, he paid off the hard money lender. Now he's got an investment property that creates more cash flow. That investment property, you got a renter in there, and he's netting $600 a month from that cash flow from that investment property. He's reallocating that $600 a month from that investment property after you paid off the hard money lender back to the primary residence, which will take his 30 year, paying it off in 19.4 years. Like, how much did that guy's quality of life improve because I had a tool with a TCA? Because I landed one financial advisor that I knew from social media that I got him to refer me to a CPA, that got him to refer me to a real estate investor. I got 3 new loans of it, and now I've got 3 new referral streams.
And tell me if you feel the same way. Like, and by the way, bankruptcy attorneys were incredible referral partners, because people have equity and people have problems. And equity can solve some of those problems. So, you know, being like, when you become this mortgage coach and you become well-known in your market, financial planners, they want to help their clients hit the financial freedom point faster. And if you can put the mortgage in that context, they love you. CPAs, first of all, they don't want to lose a client. So you need to make sure, like, hey, they don't make more money because they refer people to you, but they do create more value for people. And most CPAs, they just want, like, oh, if they think you're smarter and you're going to give their client better advice, they would rather do that than have their loan officers call a loan officer, or call a loan officer versus a mortgage coach. And then bankruptcy attorneys or people that are helping people with problems, they just want someone who knows how to strategically leverage equity to solve financial problems. Is that the way you see it, Wally, or do you have some other value props to add to those other channels aside from I'll give you business, you give me business?
Yeah, you become a problem solver. I mean, for example, Deborah became she produced, I'm not sure if you still produce or not, but she became a divorce attorney loan officer, that certification. How many doors did that open for you as a loan officer, and how many straight lines of business did that create for you? But most loan officers don't know that you can create so much generational income from that. But I mean, how'd you build that niche?
I partnered with a financial advisor who also specialized in, working with divorce attorneys. And to be perfectly honest, I was moving back from Houston and I thought, how in the world am I going to compete with someone that looks just like me? We have the same DNA. We're not on the same team. We work for the same company. I'm now going to be in the same pond. What's going to be different? Why would people use me? And, I just went after divorce attorneys, and ironically, that led to a door where I was the CEO of a family law firm for many years, where I ended up getting my real estate license so I could legally refer business out and get paid 3 different ways by doing that. But I learned a lot by just studying, and there was a lot I needed to learn. So kind of at the start of this call, when Wally said all those books, I mean, it was a whole new world, let alone this psychology behind when people come to that table. And, most people, their largest asset is their home. And it's the hardest thing. Just so y'all know, right now, divorce attorneys, they struggle with what is the market value of a home right now. You could be the solutionist for that problem by helping attorneys. Is it appraised value? Is it what market value is, what people would pay? I mean, that's a real problem right now for families who are dividing.
Yeah. And I think it's where, what I'd summarize that, and I think what Deborah did really, really well there is how are you different? Obviously, she wasn't trying to compete against the other loan officers in the world. Her sister is a really top producer loan officer who's trying to compete against her. Like I'm sure you guys competed all your life about everything else.
Oh, I have thousands of dollars in therapy for that one. Let's just be real.
Hey, Wally, would you be game? I think it would be really fun to do a Capture the Wealth Team panel with you, Tom Sherman, and Denise. And we do an hour call just talking about what does that mean and how are you guys doing it? Would you be game if I could get those 2 to play ball?
Yes, and I think I'd be a lot better positioned now. If you remember in 2017, you had me do 2018, I'm sorry. You had me do a mortgage coach live call with me interviewing Denise. And oh my God, did I butcher that? I was first of all like 7 minutes late for the call. I couldn't get the iMac to work, and it was just a mess. But I promise we'll do a lot better this time.
So if I could get those 2 and we could all agree on a date, you'd come?
I could, yes. I toss you guys up during text. We'd have it done in 5 minutes. I'm sure that's
all right, man. Well, hey, we only got 4 minutes. Give us real quick on what are you doing to drip on these folks? Like I always use case studies, like every month I would just share like a case study so they could just see me problem, solution, mortgage coach. But what are you doing to manage, once they say yes, give us real quick, what are you doing to keep them coming back?
Yeah, the hardest part of this conversation's been looking through lenses of 2018, or it's because I don't remember that far back, but I'll answer that both 2 ways. What I do today is I coach them. So out of the 46, there's 7 that I have a standing coaching meeting once a month with. And I'm coaching them how to grow their business, scale their business, so on and so on. So I'm adding value consistently at a different level. The loans go to my team, and my team manages the loans today. So again, my niche that I feel like I'm pretty good in is coaching. And that's one thing I continue to go through there. Number 1. Number 2, if I look back at lenses from 4 or 5 years ago, I'd say it's a lot of manual labor. You got to pick up the phone. You got to stay in their life. We all raise your hand if you do not eat lunch. Okay.
I eat lunch.
Yeah, I eat lunch. Have lunch with a financial advisor. Raise your hand if you don't do a happy hour. Don't put your raise hand.
I don't do happy hour.
All right, I'm getting off this call. But the point I'm trying to make
I'll do happy hour with you though, bro.
All right, I'm down. You can do happy hours. You can do just do fun things. I mean, it's just golf. I take them out to golf. Or I bought my first gun and I don't even know how to load it, but I'll go shooting at the range with a CPA. But there's things that they do. Ask them what do they like to do for fun, and all of a sudden become, oh my God, I want to do that too. Shocker. Welcome to being a loan officer. And then go do those things outside the office with them. Not in the office, but outside the office.
So do that, guys. Also push you guys, a one-to-many TCA story. Every month, have a story that shows where you helped a family achieve financial freedom faster by being, as Deborah Bird would say, a solutionist. So they don't think of you as a loan officer. They think of you as someone that helps families become debt-free faster, someone who helps people achieve their financial freedom faster, someone who helps leverage liabilities, assets, and equity into opportunity. So Todd, any closing questions or anything you want to say to wrap up today's call?
Well, I mean, I think the closing question isn't to anyone that's here in Zoom with me. It's to all of you that are watching this, right? What is the action that you're going to take as a result of hearing Wally really spell out for you how he built a business that scaled $50 million a year over the last 5 years, right? I think that there's an opportunity here to be prepared for the next time, right? We've heard Dan Rawich talk here inside the mortgage coach community about the fact that rates are going to go up this year and then eventually they're going to come down. And today's the day to start working on your next refi boom with your database. And then today's the day to start doing what Wally did, send out a couple of videos to your clients, start doing annual mortgage reviews so that you can figure out who's that first financial advisor that I can meet and get going with in order to start this waterfall of referral sources that Wally has. So, kudos to you, Wally. I think you also nailed it, Dave, with the TCA day. So certainly I should throw that over to Deborah so that she can talk about social media strategy and TCA day, how she wants to put a bow on that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's TCA Tuesday, guys. That means you should be doing a TCA one-to-many on Tuesday. Deborah, what is the TCA Tuesday strategy?
Well, I would piggyback off of this one and show a reinvestment strategy. But I want to remind people if you go live today on social media and you share this story, remember, people connect with the heart. So start with the emotional connection piece of what was the person's challenge or their initial problem. Sometimes clients don't always know what the real problem is, like the single mom refinance that you showed, Dave. But start there. You got to make that emotional connection and go off of the problem and then go into the meat of the message, which is the TCA. And that really, what I love about Mortgage Coach and TCAs is it is the #1 brand differentiator to show that you think differently. And when you can teach somebody how to think differently, you become memorable. You're unforgettable. You taught them, and what Wally just said, I mean, they're creating life transformations. So make sure you're showcasing not just the financial benefit, and not to make it too personal, but I know, Wally, you recently made a post with your mom who is battling cancer, 2 different types of cancer and dementia. So imagine to the family who didn't have life insurance, that because of the problems that equity can solve, you helped create a solution that would be, it's life-changing to a family, but here's a real moment where it could be used. And you have your kids like surrounding her in that photo. Like, it gives me goosebumps thinking about that. This is what you guys do. This is what it means to be that world-class guide and to be the most valuable advisor to the family. It's financial, yes, but don't forget the home, and what you're creating is generations of memories and emotions and what we all want: connection, love, respect. So make sure you tie that EQ in with the IQ of your TCAs.
So Wally, I'm going to title this call "Winning with Wealth Advisors." Dude, like I said, you are an industry change agent. I am super grateful for the time you've allocated to come back and give back to the mortgage coach community. Anyone listening to this, give it a like, help us with the social media algorithms. Share this with your mortgage friends. We want to see more loan officers taking that throne of captain of the wealth team. You can be the most valuable advisor to a family, but it requires you doing more than a mortgage transaction. You need to be, financially literate, and you need to help people become financially more fit within your mortgage experience. So Wally, any closing thoughts before we wrap it?
Yeah, I would say, just here's a big advantage that most people don't see right now. We just hired a 4th client concierge person because we are going even deeper in their database. The reason we did that is when we're reaching out to clients right now, doing annual mortgage reviews or mortgage efficiency checkups, a lot of the conversations are like, I've got a 2.5% rate. Why are you calling me? Aren't rates at 4% or 5%? You have to live under a rock if you've not watched the news and know rates are at 4% or whatever the rate is. Well, when we're calling these clients, like, listen, hey, we made a commitment to you as your loan officer to help you in this mortgage. With that being said, We don't want to refinance you. We want to earn the opportunity to receive a referral to your CPA, to your financial advisor, to your family will attorney, to your insurance. And with that being said, if you're at a dinner party next week and you know anybody else looking to purchase or refinance a home, we want to earn that opportunity. So let's spend the next 15, 20 minutes doing your annual mortgage review so you can refer me to that sphere. That right there is huge, guys. Reach out to your clients you did a mortgage for a year ago or even last month and ask them for referrals to wealth advisors and build that 1-lane highway that goes to 2-lane highway to 3 to 10 to as many as you want to grow.
Guys, this call has been amazing. Wally, have an awesome day. Deborah and Todd, thank you so much. Take care, kill it out there in the market, and we'll see you on Friday. Take care, everybody.
Thanks, Wally. Thanks everyone for being here.
Thanks, guys.
Later.